The Tale of Custard the Dragon Question and Answers Part 1. Who are the characters in the poem The Tale of Custard the Dragon? List them with their pet names. Ans. The characters in the poem are a girl called Belinda, a black kitten named Ink, a little grey mouse named Blink, a little yellow dog named Mustard, a little dragon named Custard, and the pirate. Why did Custard cry for a nice safe cage? Why is the dragon called Cowardly Dragon? Ans. Custard, the dragon had big sharp teeth. He had spikes on the top of his body and scales underneath. His mouth was like a fireplace and his nose was like a chimney. There were daggers on his toes. Such a creature is supposed to be very strong and ferocious, but Custard was a coward. That is why he is called the Cowardly Dragon. Since he is coward, he cried for a nice safe cage to hide there in case of any danger. Belinda tickled him. She tickled his mercifully. Why? Ans. Belinda tickled Custard severely because this was her way of teasing and making fun of him for his cowardliness. The poet has employed many poetic devices in the poem. For example, clashed his tall like iron in a dungeon. The poetic device here is a simile. Can you, with your partner, list some more poetic devices used in the poem? Ans. The following are the similes used by the poet in the poem. Mouth like a fireplace, as brave as barrel full of beers, as brave as a tiger in a rage, snorting like an engine, like a robin at a worm. The next poetic device used by the poet is alliteration. For example, the repetition of the consonant L in little in first stanza, brave as a barrel, clatter and a clank. The next poetic device the poet has used is the use of irony. For example, there is use of irony in Ink, Blink and Mustard calling Percival. Custard is described as coward while Percival was one of King Arthur's legendary Knight of the Round Table. He is most famous for his involvement in the quest for the Holy Grail. Read stanza 3 again to know how poet describes the appearance of the dragon. Ans. Custard the dragon had sharp teeth. He had spikes on the top of the body and scales underneath. His mouth was like a fireplace and his nose was like a chimney. He had daggers on his toes, but still he was coward. Can you find out the rhyme scheme of 2 or 3 stanzas of the poem? Ans. The rhyme scheme of the first 2 stanzas is the same IEABB. Writer use words to give us a picture or image without actually saying what they mean. Can you trace some images used in the poem? Ans. Some of the images are used in describing the image of Custard the dragon and that of the pirate. There are also images in the stanza 10 where Custard fight against the pirate is described. For example, mouth like a fireplace, snorting like an engine, like a robin at a worm. Do you find the Tale of Custard the Dragon to be a serious or a light-hearted poem? Ans. The poem, The Tale of Custard the Dragon, is a humorous ballad close to a parody. The names of Belinda's pets are funny. The way Custard gobbles up the pirate is also amusing. Ink, Blink and Mustard make fun of Custard for his cowardice and boast of their bravery. But they run away when they see the pirate, but still they try to prove themselves braver than Custard. How brave was Belinda? Ans. Belinda was brave as a barrel full of beers. How brave was Mustard? Ans. Mustard was brave as a tiger in a rage. How brave were Ink and Blink? Ans. Ink and Blink were so brave that they chased lions down the stairs. Why did Custard cry for a nice safe cage? Ans. Custard cries for a nice safe cage because he was a coward. Why did Belinda tickle Custard so severely? Ans. Belinda tickled Custard severely because this was her way of teasing him for being coward. What is the nesty sound the pet hear? Ans. The nesty sound that the pets heard was the sound of a pirate climbing on the window to enter Belinda's house.